The fifth K, know how to communicate your personal brand attributes. That's right. Know how to communicate your personal brand attributes. Know how to communicate your personal brand attributes. Let's do a quick exercise. What is your brand name? Yes. What is your brand name? Yes. What is your brand name? Yes. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause for Swag as she comes to the stage. Swag as she comes to the stage. Swag as she comes to the stage. Let's say hi, Swag. Swag. If you were in the elevator, who's someone you really want to impress? It could be your client, it could be your boss, your counselee, or a prospective new client because you're about to go to orals. What would that client, that person, that boss, that person who could change your life, your career, what would they be able to say about you when they walked out of the elevator?
She's the greatest person I ever met.
Okay, give her a hand, give her a hand. That's... And hold on. What's your brand name?
Swag.
Give her a hand, that's consistency, right? Now, but earlier, let's walk. You can take this. Earlier, I did ask, what are 3 words? Keep going, keep walking. I asked, what are 3 words that best describe going to your table? The lasting impression that you want to have on someone after an encounter with you. I want that card. 3 words that best describe the lasting impression. She said, impactful, intelligent, and cool. Impactful, intelligent, and cool. We were in the elevator with a prospective client, someone who could give your team, Deloitte Consulting, millions of dollars. You and that person in the elevator. And I said, what would that person be able to say about you when they walked out of the elevator? And what did she say?
The greatest person.
She's the greatest person I ever met. And because she's the greatest person I ever met, I'm now going to give this engagement to the greatest firm we've ever met. Give her a hand. That's consistency. That's consistency. Most people don't talk to people in the elevator. They actually look down. But the reality is, each of you in this room needs to have an elevator speech. You guys have all heard about the elevator speech, right? Anyone here in this room not hear about the elevator speech? Raise your hand. If you've not heard about the elevator speech, it's okay, raise your hand, it's okay. It's okay, raise your hand. I got a couple hands. The elevator speech is basically having a statement of your value that you can whip out at a moment's notice whenever and wherever opportunities can be created. The classic example is, what do you say when you were in the elevator with your company's CEO? Right? So you're in the elevator with Joe E. Or our former CEO, Barry Salzberg. Or the CEO of your client. This will happen to you, by the way. This will happen to you. You're in the elevator with that executive, that person of significance. What you say in that encounter can transform your brand, can even bring down or bring up an engagement. Now, I define the elevator speech as these 3 things. A statement of who you are, what you do, and how you add value. I'll say it again. Who you are, what you do, and most importantly, how you add value. And regardless of the situation, you need to be able to whip that out at a moment's notice whenever opportunity can be created. For example, what would you say when you were in the elevator with Oprah Winfrey? What would you say? You say, fix your show. So let me tell you a personal story. I was at Deloitte for about 10 years. I left just recently to continue to pursue my professional speaking and author career. But when I started my career out of school, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania, Wharton. Anyone from Philadelphia? When I started my career out of school, I actually started off as a New York marketing manager at Citibank North America. New York marketing manager. When you ask me what I aspire to be, my line number 1, I want to be on the national stage, on the national team. But I was on the New York team. Well, anyway, I heard on this very day that the national marketing director for Citibank North America was coming from Chicago to New York. I also heard through the rumor mill they were thinking about moving the headquarters to be headquartered in New York from Chicago. So on this very day of his visit, I was sitting down just like this at my cubicle, typing away. All of a sudden, I got up, and I took a piece of paper in my hand, and I went to the elevator. Now, I was on the 44th floor. I took the elevator up to the 50th floor. Now, the 50th floor at this company was that floor where the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the CIO, the CTO, and if you didn't have any business being there, you should really see yourself out. It was that floor. So anyway, I got up one day from my cubicle, went to the elevator, got off the elevator, and I did this. I walked around the room with this look of purpose, with this look of determination. I walked around the room. You saw me, you said, wow, this guy's got an important business meeting, important person to see. I walked around the room just like this, hoping that I'd bump into someone, anyone, where I could say, hey, how you doing? I'm Kaplan Mobray, I work in marketing, good to meet you. So I walked around the floor, just like this, with this look of purpose, with this look of determination. I walked around the floor twice, intently, like I belong there. I walked around the floor twice, and guess what? Nobody came out of their office. It was like they said, hey, there's this crazy guy, Kaplan Mobray, walking the floor. Everyone, please, abandon your stations. So I got back into the elevator, and I said, I tried. Just as the doors are about to close, someone sticks their hand in and says, hey, wait for me. Who do you think it was? It was the national marketing director, the guy from Chicago. Just the person who I was hoping to bump into. I didn't let him know that, though. So in that elevator, I said, hey, man, great to see you. Specifically, I said, hey, we're doing some innovative things in our New York marketing group downstairs. If there's ever an opportunity to help benefit our offices nationally, I would love to talk to you further. 2 weeks later, I get a call. Kaplan, as you may have heard, we are moving our national marketing operations from Chicago to now be headquartered in New York. I want to talk to you about a job as National Advertising Manager for Citibank North America. And guess what, analysts? I got that job. I got that job. So my point is, in that elevator encounter, I was able to quickly communicate who I was, what I do, and how I add value. What's your elevator speech? As you think about your Deloitte career, as you think about what comes out of your mouth when people say, how you doing? As you think about your encounters with your clients, with your teams, with your counselees, with your mentors, what's your elevator speech? Each of you in this room needs to have an elevator speech that defines your value. Because sometimes your brand will be built not just by what you do or the service area that you represent, but also by how you talk about what you do. So in every single encounter, your elevator speech should be something that associates you with value. Now, the reality is, a lot of you will be in elevators and you'll be in conversations where people say, how are you doing? They say, what's your name? Brooks. When people say, how are you doing, what do they say? Good, right? What's your name? Ellen. When people say, how are you doing, what do they say? Great. 95% of people in a corporate environment, when people ask them, how are you doing, they say, good and great. But the reality is, they say, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. We're working hard on our client engagement. I'm so busy. Start to listen to when people ask you, how you doing? When you say, how you doing, they say, I'm so busy. But the reality is, if you are now in a situation in the elevator with your client, with the CEO of your client organization, or with even Joe E. from Deloitte, and he says, hey, man, Brooks, how you doing? If you say, I'm so busy, you're lumped with the 95% of other people who say, I'm so busy. So what I advocate as it relates to your personal brand, say, we're making some great things happen. What division do you work in? What service area? Our S&O team is making some great things happen. What client do you work on? Our S&O team working on the Navy account, we're making some great things happen. Who do you work for? What's your boss or whose name? Jason Mason. I'm working with Jason Mason, like our S&O team working for the Navy. We're making some great things happen. It's the same way of saying I'm so busy, but it's positive. And now you, Brooks, you're someone who's known as making a contribution. The reality is, 10 months later, 12 months later, Joe E. or Puneet Ranjan, or now the new head of consulting says, who worked on this Navy engagement? Because now we have $50 million of extra new revenue based on a particular strategy that we endorse for the Navy. Who are the people who worked on this account? He starts looking at the names. All of a sudden, somewhere on the page, he sees Brooks' name. Boom. He traces Brooke, your name, back to the elevator 10 months earlier. You know, I met that guy Brooks in the elevator, and I asked him how he's doing. And he said, we're making some great things happen for our Navy account. All of a sudden, he traces your name back to that encounter of value, and now your brand, Brooks, has been elevated. And now you have become someone who people need to know, and people want to hear from. And now you're getting invited to meetings. Stand up, Brooks. Let's give a spotlight on this guy. Now, we're going to make him instant celebrity. Brooks, raise your hand. Brooks. Brooks. Now you are getting invited to meetings where people are not. You're getting invited on task force to offer your insight and your opinion for S&O because you did something great with the Navy account. Now you are now a team leader offering advice to help mentor others. Now you are being invited to another mentoring opportunity to showcase your knowledge, your expertise, your value. All because in the elevator you said, we're making some great things happen. But if you said, I'm so busy, you wouldn't have given your brand a chance to shine. So my point, analysts in this room, as it relates to your personal brand, your elevator speech is powerful, and it will connect you to value. What you do, who you are, and how you add value. Each of us needs to have an elevated speech. Know how to communicate your personal brand attributes.